Well, if everything is working right, we are back, and it is now segueing from music to just talking some of the industry chat things that came up this past week. Brian, we got a few topics we're going to be hitting in the next half hour or so. I think
Yeah.
everything is working here.
This is the part where John just kind of throws stuff at me like hand grenades and I react.
We just watch him duck or fall on that grenade, man. Whatever works for you. So we're just going to get the chats, making sure the chat windows are up and such. First off, Brian, one of the things that's all over the Minneapolis St. Paul news, and I want to just share this with you, is that the whole thing that they're doing some investigating, and they've been executing some search warrants out at Paisley Park, and they're looking for specifically, it sounds like they're looking for prescriptions for these different types of medications that Prince was found in his possession and such. So you're going to hear more about that, I'm sure, tonight. That was something that just started to break this afternoon and early evening. So, okay, let's get to our topics tonight. First off, let's just start with that wedding wire. They were wondering, for people how finding gigs, Wedding Wire is calling a lot of us right now and trying to get us onto the board. And what have you heard, Brian, through your avenue as far as your thoughts with Wedding Wire and advertising with Wedding Wire?
Sometimes if somebody's got to really talk me into something, I tend to shy away from it. That's just me personally. If I like something and I see it as a good product, I buy it. But if someone's trying to sell me a product, I typically shy away from it. So I haven't used them. Well, I got a free ad up on them. I've never got anything. Speaking of, the thing I've had the most success with has been WeDJ.
Yep.
And I had to kind of be patient with it. I remember I got the whatever it is, the super duper package or whatever, the whole works. And I thought, well, I'll try it for 6 months and see what happens. I got nothing.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, about 8 months later, it really popped, and I get a lot of leads from it. But I never got anything doing a discounted ad with them. I only got something by doing the premium ad, but it more than paid for itself.
I would agree. The WeDJ of all the things that I've done, I did some Wedding Wire things. I found Wedding Wire things work the best if I'm a multi-system company and I can spread that cost, that investment into Wedding Wire advertising over multiple systems. But now it's so convoluted that it really, I don't.
Everybody wants you. There's so many different.
Yeah.
There's Wedding Wire, the Knot, and there's all these different. And I know people who play them. They do, and they have success with them. I'm just not that guy. I mean, the WeDJ thing for a single op guy, if you're patient and you go premium, I think it might pay off for you if you have a good ad. And I guess I do because I get calls on it. I get a lot of emails on it, a lot of leads on it.
Yeah, going with WeDJ, there's a couple of cool features with that where you can go into your geographic area. And for those of you who are in a larger metro area, it might be something to actually think about. And I've seen some of the metro DJ companies that are doing this is they're going out and targeting like a county outside of the metro specific area, because there's times when that bride is at home and she's searching for DJs, and sometimes that if she's lives an hour out of Minneapolis, St. Paul as an example, she might be searching from that area, and your ad may pop up closer or faster for her there than it does if you're competing with all the different ads. And you can also target counties, which is fabulous because I can go and buy a county and it costs like 50. At the time, it was like $50 a year to buy a county. So your banner ad would show up right at the very top. Right. And if you put together a good ad, had some graphics people, WeDJ has certainly been, aside from the phone books in the early 90s, that was back then, those were gold. I mean, you could go and spend $1,000 on an ad and you would get your money out of it most every time. So
the story I have about WeDJ is I was doing a lot of other things in the early 2000s, and just work. Juan, oh Christ, here's Juan. He's naked. Put your clothes on, Juan. I was selling cars, delivering floral, just goofy, stupid jobs. And I decided to get back into DJing heavy, but it had been a while, and I didn't want to advertise. I didn't have any money, so I thought, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on WeDJ. I'm going to find Chicagoland DJs who advertise for Wisconsin, because I think what they're probably doing most of the time is turning down these gigs. And sure enough, I got a lot of guys who were like, yeah, we turn them down all the time. I'm like, well, don't do that. Just send it to me.
Yeah.
And take a cut. And that's how I started DJing again.
Oh, very good. What neat. What a great idea. Because they're happily going to book that and send it your way if you do a good job.
Right.
Good.
Well, we don't know the area well enough. We don't know the demographic because it's very different. I mean, we're only a few miles apart, but it's a very different demographic. And a lot of people, we're not sure. We don't know. So yeah, I'll take them. We don't know what the good area of Milwaukee is, what a bad area is. We have no idea. Don't worry about it. Let me sort through them. You just let me know what you got, and I'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out very well. I made a lot of money doing that in the first couple of years.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let's continue on through our topics. Our next one is DJs have been talking, and this was a meme we've seen a few times, but the whole concept of DJs going out and performing for exposure only. You've had that call. I've had that call where, hey, we've got this event, and we're going to have all the bigwigs in town. You know, it's a chamber thing, and you can come in and you can play, and you can put up a banner and think of the boy, everyone's going to see you and love you and want to hire you.
Right.
What are your thoughts on DJing for exposure?
It better be good. I mean, is it a
Maybe we
radio
should.
station? Are you gonna get?
Maybe we shouldn't have talked about exposure when Juan was in the room with his pants around his ankles.
Yeah, probably not. It better be good. I mean, I turn a lot of them down just because, well, okay, the first thing you have to do is figure out how to gracefully tell them no. And really for me, it's pretty easy these days. Well, it's a good cause.
Yeah.
Well, I have my own cause, and I really do. I'm doing stroke advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks, but no thanks. I do know somebody who's doing some stuff for exposure. They are getting something for it, but not a lot. But it's for a major radio station, and they're doing major festivals, and they are getting a lot of exposure. So it's working out well for them that way. And they're also getting ad time. So there has to be some kind of exchange opposed to just exposure.
Yeah.
I believe before it's worth anyone's while, unless it's like really good.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna film an episode of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, and you're gonna be the DJ, okay? And we're gonna put your name up and say hire you. Oh, okay, yeah, do that gig, but yeah, for the local Eagle Scouts, I don't know that I'd do it.
Yeah, for sure. There's some events it just doesn't make sense, and even on some of the events that may make sense because there's going to be a lot of numbers there. There could be 20,000 people at an event, and you could have banners up, and they're probably not going to remember you unless you're doing something so outstanding.
Yeah, you
probably
really
not.
Bring it if you're going to do this exposure stuff. Really bring it and milk it. But I mean, like I did stuff. Oh man, like my daughter, when she was in elementary school, I did every one of her dances. Well, except for two, I believe. The last two I didn't do, but that wasn't my fault. That was their faux pas.
Yeah.
Jeez, I can't think of a damn gig I got from that. And the PTA people, nobody. I got nothing except more. Hey, you want to do more stuff for the kids? Hell no, screw those kids.
Yeah, exactly. It's to the point. It's
I did for my daughter.
I've got to put food on the table. I have bills to pay. But now, with that being said, there are times that to do that. You mentioned that you have an event you do for stroke advocacy, or what was that?
Well, no, I don't do a gig for it, but I mean, I put a lot of time into this. I mean, I'm doing a lot of social media stuff. I'm doing videos for people who have had stroke, and most of it is just kind of like, and not to go off topic here, but most of it is kind of like, look, you can do stuff. If you're disabled, I have one hand. Really, this one does a little bit of nothing, yet I still do all the crap that I do. And you can too. Life isn't over. Pretty girls still talk to me. I'm still having fun. I'm still traveling. Life goes on. That means a lot to people who don't have a lot of hope. I take a lot of time with these people. That's my cause. Right. That's what I'm doing. That's my giving back right now. Aside from all the crap I do for DJs for free, that's my big cause.
Yeah.
So that's my, and I can just say that, hey, look, this is what I do. So
exactly,
I put my time into this. This is what I do, and done.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's see. Demanding wedding party. If you've got somebody in the wedding party, or maybe a guest at a wedding, and you've talked to the bride and groom, and you've done your planning and things, and you've got what they want, and you've got someone from that wedding party who's coming up there and playing, that old familiar card. Well, the bride really loves this song, and the bride told me to come up and request that. How do you handle those demanding people when you know that they're basically full of crap?
That specific case, I will literally say, okay, cool, and then I will go to the bride and say, hey, look, dude over here said you really wanted to hear Molly Hatch's Flirting with Disaster. Is he telling me a story, or he's like, what? That's what I thought. Just making sure. I will do that. I will call them out, and done and done. I do that with Bridesmaids. I do it with Drunk Uncle Bob. I do it with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I always try to do, because you know that situation is going to come up. There's going to be somebody bullying you, even if it's the wedding party, even if it's the bride and groom. I try to establish those things, establish boundaries early, not only with talking to them and explaining to them how this is going to go, as far as the evening goes, as far as what I'm going to play, why I'm going to play it. Yeah, we can do whatever you want me to do, but I can't guarantee results. Just hang with me, earn their trust. I'm in pretty good shape when it comes to, worrying about these scammers coming up trying to get a request played immediately.
Right.
I do pretty well. I'll ask a bride. I'll ask a groom. Hey, do you really want to hear this, or is he just, what's going on? Is he playing? Let's trick the DJ.
And then generally after you've gotten the no, I don't want to hear that song, then you get the next statement from them that is, just ignore everything he's going to ask for tonight, because he's going to ask for a lot of crap. And
right, because he's an idiot. He's only out for the night. They don't really let him out, but they let him out for the weddings. So
exactly. If he, is he bothering you? Because if he's bothering you, we can.
No. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't want to not play, Fat Bottom Girls by the Queen, and you loved it because I wanted to make sure that my intuition was correct and that this guy was full of it. So
yeah, which
just looking at, and they thank you for that. And there are cases when you do that and they go, "Oh yeah, I sent him up there," but thank you. Like they think that's really cool that I actually was looking out just in case.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good, and even just the checking in with the bride and groom a couple of times during the night, even if it's not that, just to go up there and say, hey, how are you guys doing? Everything going? And is there anything that, that one of the ones is I'd like to, when I'm talking to the groom, it's like, we haven't played a slow song in a while. Is there a special slow song, that you've thought of while we've been here tonight that you'd like to dance with? Well, you know what? There is. And I've found over the years that we've picked up a couple of slow songs that they had forgotten at our consultations and they didn't write on the list. And he's like, when you played that song, I remember that song, that one song that was, she loves that song, but we forgot to write it down.
Or it could be, oh yeah, you know what? We totally forgot. It's my aunt and uncle's anniversary, and
yep,
their tune is this, and you play it, and you're a rock star.
Exactly. So, communication.
Just talking to them. I mean, it sounds so Captain Obvious, but just go ask if that's what you were supposed to do or not. And
for those of you who are feeling a little insecure about going and talking to them, just remember, we said to do it. Yeah. Now, if you're feeling insecure, you just say, Brian told me to. I have to do it.
Well, Brian didn't tell you to do it 50 times. That's hassling your client.
That would be, yeah. If you're after every song, how are you doing now? How about now?
I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but when I was a young DJ first out there, I got in trouble for that one time. I was just I was really insecure, and I really wanted to make sure they were happy, and they were totally happy, but I just badgered them to the point where they complained.
Oh no!
So in moderation, folks.
Yeah, good point.
Don't interrupt them if they're busy doing something. Let them do that.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir. When you're done with her, can I? Okay. Next one. Life expectancy of gear. Gear doesn't last forever. It's going to need to be replaced at a time. What are your feelings? Let's kind of look at lighting, and then let's look at more of the audio side of it. What would you recommend for replacing lighting, upgrading lighting, what have you?
Sure. Well, I mean, lighting can last a really long time, as can audio. But you have to have a plan, a business plan to replace if something goes bad. And what I mean by that is when I don't like to talk about price too much, but when I structure price, what I try to do is build in a 2-year plan on my equipment. Does that make any sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it definitely does.
I can expand on that just for the audience. So like, let's say that I have $6,000 worth of equipment, right? Just total. What I bring to every gig is $6,000.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how many gigs do I do in 2 years. Let's say I only do 10 gigs a year. Okay. I need to pay for this equipment in 20 gigs. So 20 divided by 6,000 is what, 350?
Would be 300 a piece.
Okay, 300. Okay. Yeah. So if I put $300 into my pricing just for equipment, above and beyond what it's going to cost me to, out of pocket for that gig, what I got to pay myself and all that stuff, I pay for my equipment. in 20 gigs at like 5%, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that's what I do. So I'm prepared if something breaks. If it doesn't break, bonus. I got some cash.
Yeah.
But I actually have made that money. The equipment is paid for itself, and I have to replace it. I will, because that stuff does break. It does.
It does.
You don't know when it's going to break. So, I mean, one thing that I do, I try to get good stuff. I know I'll go ahead and spend the extra money on something I know is going to last a long time or has a better warranty than the cheap thing. It just saves me, um, saves me time. I remember in the old days, the argument was, when stuff was going lightweight with amplifiers and things. Oh yeah, but those amplifiers, they cost $1,200. And I have this amp that works perfectly good, or works perfectly good. I have a perfectly well functioning amplifier, whatever. Can't talk tonight. And I'd say, yeah, but $1,200 is cheaper than back surgery. And it really is.
It
so
was. Those were heavy.
You have to justify this stuff when you buy it in the first place. Then when you do, you have to figure out how to pay for it. And I think on anything of any decent quality, even giving it 2 years is very generous. I mean, it's going to last longer than that, but at least you have your stuff paid for and you can replace it. But I don't know. I try to swap stuff out, especially the audio stuff. Yeah, every 2 or 3 years. The lighting stuff, it's kind of negligible. If it breaks, it breaks. Big deal. I bring more than one light, and I just replace it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're slow. See, I think the 2 years are definitely a nice number to work with. And what's really kind of cool is that when we first started buying speakers and amplifiers, you didn't have 5-year warranties on your speakers and sound systems now. So they're definitely made to last. So good stuff. Let's see.
You should expect a lot more than 2 years. I do want to just emphasize that. But if you give yourself 2 years, then you're always fresh. You never have to worry.
Where's the money going to come from to replace it?
You can sell it. You can keep it as backup, or you can just keep using it and just have a good backup plan in play.
Yeah, very much so.
But you can count on, a solid 2 years from everything, from a decent laptop to a light fixture to a MIDI controller. You can count on a solid 2 years, I think, without any incident on good stuff.
Yeah, I would agree. And as I mentioned in a video that's going to be going up, you can with wires and such. Life expectancy of wires is. I have wires that I have picked up because I needed something quick, and they were cheap, and those wires lasted one time.
You probably have wires older than your kids too.
And then I have some wires that are lifetime warranty that are older than my children that are still going today. That were old HOSA wires. Yeah, that just last forever. I've got some NLFX when I first met Ben Stowe that I bought some wires, and those are still around. So, yeah, quality stuff goes. Okay, our next topic. When to go multi. At this time of the year, we've got our calendar pretty full, and we're getting the 4th and 5th call for that Saturday in June. And we've got that date, and then we've got this July date that's been really popular, a couple of August dates. Boy, when does a person start to really think seriously about expanding their company?
I'll let you answer that first. What do you think?
My thought on this one, and I've talked a little bit about this in a couple of other videos, is that in order to be able to expand and to be able to cover, doing the same kind of math you were talking about with your gear, is that you need to be able to look at that calendar and to be able to afford that system. First off, so that means that if you can only book 6 shows from overflow dates, you're probably not in a position to go multi. You've got to have it where you're turning down 20 dates a year using similar numbers to what you're talking about. And then, of course, that opens a whole gamut of things, because as someone who has been multi, is the people loved what I did. And then when we went initial multi was myself, and then Lori went out and she DJ'd. People loved what she did because she was with me for 4 or 5 years, and she could almost repeat to a word what I did. You've got to be able to fill that calendar and to find someone who's going to come in and want to work. If they're going to dedicate Saturdays to you, they're going to want to dedicate every Saturday, and they're going to want to be paid well on Saturdays. When do you go multi? It's a tough call. And I don't know, in this day and age, with the ability for DJs to pop up out of the woodwork so quickly, I really question if a successful single op really should even look at going multi. So kind of my thought.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't. I mean, if you want to have fun with this, if you want to enjoy what you do, I wouldn't go multi unless it's a situation with you and Lori. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. I did it once. I went multi in '94 because I was turning down dates like mad because I had them booked. I thought,
Yeah.
well, I'll make an investment. I'll buy another system. I'll be a multi-op, and I'll bring in DJs. And you got to remember, at the time, not everybody had every cool song to go out and do a wedding, and you couldn't go and get started and just buy a brand new DJ system at Guitar Center for $1,000 either. It costs money to do.
Yeah, it did. It was tough to get it
So
all
you got an
together.
investment of what, minimum $3,500
Mm-hmm.
minimum to start off with a little mobile system, plus your music doubles of everything you had before. You could record everything.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Give a guy a pile of cassette tapes? No, you're not going to do that.
No, they won't.
So you got to go out and buy DJ tools all over again.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go out and buy everything all over again. And then you do that, and then you think about, all right, well, I got to pay this guy a premium because I'm going to get a good guy. Stuff would come up missing. CDs would come up missing. Equipment would come up missing. They would show back up. Oh, well, I'll bring it back next week. In the meantime, they're doing 3 gigs with your stuff, and you find out about it.
Yep.
I can't manage employees. I hate employees for that. And it's unfortunate that I had that situation happening. But I think about today. Oh my gosh, you can DJ. Anybody can get the music.
Mm-hmm.
You might not know what to do with it, but you have it. You can buy the equipment relatively reasonable, and everyone has a pickup truck now. Not everybody had a truck back then.
Well, the sound systems are, I mean, think of the old PV speakers we used to lug around, or the old early JBL thing. I mean, these were huge things.
Right.
Now I can go grab 2 of those 15-inch two-way cabinets over there from EV or anyone.
Yeah.
And they can do way more than the subs and tops we had back in the late 80s.
You can put an impressive mobile DJ system. You can pack it in a 4-door Honda Civic. I know you can.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or a Toyota Corolla, even a 2-door Toyota Corolla.
We see our friends from California that Jose and different guys that they're taking small 4-door cars and they're doing a fabulous job.
Wasn't the case back then though.
No, not a bit.
You got to have this heavy duty stuff. You got to have this music, and if the music's gone, it's gone. You didn't have backups to your music. It was it.
Yep. That disc gets scratched or something at an event, or we used to have the laying discs out. Okay, so we have our play the next up, and then the next songs we kind of lay them out that way. So and then all of a sudden you turn your back for a second, and all of a sudden, oh, where did that CD go?
Right.
Somebody walked with it.
So I say if happy life is single op. That's me. If you really just want to become king multi-op, do it when your calendars. You're turning down a whole bunch of dates, especially in the summertime. Do it. Find yourself somebody who's rock solid and will stick with you and won't bail on you. And that's the other thing I found, and I'll just throw this out there before we move on. I discovered a few things about people and myself when I had the multi-op. The biggest thing I discovered was no one's going to care as much about these gigs as me.
Right.
No one. For any amount of money. I could pay somebody, I could give them the whole nut. I could not even take a profit. I could give them all the money that I made off of those gigs. They're still not going to care about this as much as I did.
Yep.
This is my name on the line. And the only thing I figured, well, the only thing I have is my name. These mean a lot to me. So I'm going to just handle this stuff. And if I get a call for a date that I'm not available, well, I'm going to refer to a pal. I'm not going to put my name on the line for a couple of bucks.
Yeah. This
is stupid. And I'm a lot happier. I don't have to get those calls on Monday. Oh, well, he did this and he did that, or she did this and she did that. Then you got to call them. Hey, I got a call from them.
Yeah, exactly. What? Tell
me
what happened.
What I did. I don't. Yeah. What is this, man? I didn't sign to be like the vice principal of a high school here. I'm trying to run a DJ company.
And that's what happens. I think earlier when you were talking about your early experience where you would offer to do, you contacted those Chicago companies and offered to work with them. I think that is where today we need to look, instead of going multi, is to have, get together with a couple of other DJs who are maybe not in your exact in your 5 mile radius, we'll call it, maybe they're just in a little bit out the next ring or what have you. In my case, I'd be contacting some DJs who are an hour away and connecting with them and saying, hey, here's the deal. I mean, I have an agreement or a relationship like that with two guys who are closer to me.
Sure.
It's like, when I'm over, I'm going to send them your way. And then when they're over full, they send them my way. And
You can exchange money on that if you want to. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either, because we have different rates. What I charge and what they charge is completely different. But it's interesting. Some years I'm sending more people to their way, and some years they're sending more people my. It's just, but we've been doing it for years, and
I like just being able to give a solid referral. Again, it's my name.
Yeah.
If I'm able to say, hey, you know what, my friend Art is going to take care of you.
Yep.
I guarantee it. Tell me, and you know what's so beautiful about that is I already sell it, because I talk to the client and I say, okay, tell me about yourselves. What kind of event is this? Who's going to be there? If they tell me, oh yeah, we're, he's Mexican, I'm white. It's going to be mixed a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of both. And it's going to be, I'm like, you know what? I got a guy. He speaks Spanish. He's perfect for you. And he does this stuff. But before I even tell you who he is, let me call him, make sure he's available, because I don't want to get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Then I'll call him and I'll say, hey, Art, I got one for you on this date. Are you available? If he says yes, I call him back and say, great news. Art's available. Just call Art.
Yep.
If they're not available, then I can say, okay, who's next on the list?
Yep. Think about it.
And then I can go down the list and say, okay, Dave can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dave, are you available for this date? This is what it is. Yeah. Oh, great news. The DJ I was thinking about was available for you. His name's Dave. So I do it that way. So they're already, when they call, they're just like, how much?
Mm-hmm.
I've already sold it for them, and they love me for that.
Yeah, that's really important. That's to handle referrals like that.
I would rather be able to do that and be solid with my friends. If I need to bail it, they give it to me. If they got something they throw in my way, they've got a solid referral. I've got someone to refer to that's solid. It just works out. Some people want something for it. Some people want a percentage, and that's fine if that's how you do business. But
yep. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's not how I do it.
Yeah, that's not. Everyone does things a little bit different. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there have been times where that is worked wonderfully. So that'll give you some ideas. Our last question, Brian, and we're going to wrap things up here. That'll get us at about 30 minutes. Venue visits before the event. Notice I said event. Not gig there. Okay.
Site inspections.
But site inspection. How important is that to go and check out the site before the wedding?
As important as it is to the client. I believe that because, I really want to be able to have a situation at every event where the floor plan makes sense for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before. I've said it 100 times. A lot of times what happens is banquets, catering wants to give you the floor plan, or the banquet hall wants to give you the floor plan. Oh, the cake's going to look lovely here, and the flow of traffic for the buffet is going to be great here.
Yep.
Put the DJ way over there. Who cares about him?
See that pillar? You're going to be right behind that pillar over there. Go.
They don't think about you. So, when I tell my clients, I'm like, look, I offer floor planning, catering. They do, in banquet facilities, they do food and beverage very well. This is what they do, but they do not do entertainment floor planning well. This is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So at least, help me help you, and at least give me a schematic of what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Give me a floor plan. Show me where they have everything. And if I see anything that I don't like, I'm going to tell you about it. I don't think you always have to go to the venue. Sometimes it's a good idea to do. If you can, great.
Yeah.
If you can without a big hassle.
And that's a great point there, Brian. I'm gonna just build off that quickly. When you mention hassle, it's not only a hassle for us having to travel to and go this. There are sometimes the venues don't want to be seeing us on a Tuesday afternoon or what have you.
They got better things to do.
They've got better things to do than to be holding our hand.
Yeah, so, it's not just us. It's them.
Yeah, it's a hassle on their part, and some they love it. Some are consider us a pain in the butt.
Honestly, if the client's paying for it, if when you talk to your client and you say, hey, look, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to find out where every power outlet is. I'm going to make sure this is perfect for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want something real specific. They paid for it and you charge them for it.
Yep.
You got to do it. But you might be putting some people out on this, just so you understand that.
Yeah, exactly.
It might not be as easy as you think it is.
Yeah.
You could, and I've even gotten to situations where I've had to talk to engineers on the phone and things. Hey, I hate to bother you, but this is what they want. I need to make sure that I can do this.
Yep.
What's going on with the power? What's your power draw here? Is there power here? If not, how close is the closest outlet to here so I can come prepared? Do I come with 75 feet of extension cable. Do I need 200? If so, I need a different gauge. You gotta, if it's not a hassle, do it. But most of the time, once you've been working an area for a long time, you already know
Exactly. Yep. What's there, and you have a good idea.
Somebody calls you up and says, "Yeah, I want you to play Grain Exchange downtown." Like, shit, I've been there.
Oh, exactly.
Up there, I know what they always do, and I know what's going on. I don't need to see that place. I know what's going on.
Yep, for
I can
sure.
tell you what's going on there. It's going to look like this, and they like that. So,
kind of looks like that almost all the time.
I don't know. I don't know if that answered the question or not.
No, I think it did. I think it did. That we got to cover. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our industry chat topics for tonight. If you guys have got something you'd like us to kind of answer next week or dig into, we're going to be changing our show up again next week, as Brian and I've been talking about what we want to do. And I think where the industry chat is going to be about a half hour of our show. And then I think we're going to kind of dig into some kind of feature every week a different subject, which could be an artist, it could be a group, it could be an industry icon, everything.
Perhaps. Yeah, we'll do something different.
We're going to do something different. So you're going to be the two segments. We'll be doing that again next week, and we'll give you some more information on what this is all going to look like. So
we have live feedback in the chat room right now, which is a little delayed, and I understand that, but let me know what you thought of our segment we just did.
Yeah, please.
I'd like to know what you thought of what we just did.
Yeah, put that down in the comment down below, and let us know if you have questions that you'd like us to tackle, what have you. We appreciate you watching, and we will be back again next Tuesday night. Brian, thank you very much for being on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, catch you guys later. Bye-bye.